Hey folks, my name is Adam Richard Colton, and this is my 2017 Beta 300 RR Race Edition. I scored on this bike. I got this bike with 20 hours on it for $4,400. It's going to kind of give you my, year and a half riding impression on it. Alright, well, the first thing that kind of sucked is these forks. My buddy on his 2018 and me on my 2017, they have a coating issue in the inside of the fork tube. And the reason I learned that, well, that was because I had a leaky fork seal here, and then the oil coming out was this really dark gray color, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. And sure enough, I talked to a suspension expert, and he said, yeah, if that's dark gray, it's like a pretty much 100% chance that you have the anodizing and the fork tubes wearing off, and that metal flakes is getting into your fork oil, and blah blah blah. So luckily they were able to warranty it, sent my suspension off, and they were able to contact Beta because they know it's an ongoing issue, and they warranted my fork tubes. And then to be extra safe, I did a hard anodizing coating in the fork tubes so that doesn't happen again. On my bike, I got this Midwest clutch lever, and I really like it. I hear a lot of people that don't like these, but what I've heard is people don't set them up right, because it's not like a traditional lever where you just set it on, take out the slop, and you're good. No, you have to set it up with the engine warm. And then it's all just minute adjustments of the screws to make it good, and it is performing flawlessly. One thing that I don't really like about my Beta, because I don't really ride on the road that much, is all the clunky turn signal stuff here. I'm gonna have to take this off. I got a traditional kill button that I can put over here, because the kill button, which is kind of weird, is right there, that red button. It's kind of a weird spot for kill button, but I got used to it. At first I didn't like it, then I got used to it. I really like the brakes, the Nissan brakes, Nissan, or whatever, how you want to pronounce it. Some people said that it was like too grabby. I don't know what they're talking about. The brakes are not too grabby. Nissan, just normal brakes, they feel great. Maybe you squeezed your brake lever too hard, that's why they felt grabby. They feel fine. I love the Polisport Protection on the bike. I don't know, for me, might as well just throw it on there. Pretty rough on the bike. It's got the swing arm. These Polisport swing arms are pretty nice. One of the secrets here is stainless steel zip ties. Regular zip ties just don't cut it, but stainless steel or just steel zip ties are the way to go. This one over here, you can see is cracked, but still going. So I think these Enduro Engineering disc guards are crucial. I think that's like a must-have investment for your bike. It's been great. I have a lowering link on here, the Kuba link. So yeah, I will say I like it because I'm short. I'm 5'8", but I have like an inseam of someone that's like 5'6", and helps get the bike lower. But I mean, look at this. Let's see here. That's me bottoming out my rear tire to my rear fender all the time. So, and the sag set good. The springs from my weight. I do think I need to get my shock revalved and figure out the compression, because I'm like almost all the way up on my high speed compression and I'm still bottoming out. But that's what happens when you have a lowering link. And they say that, don't be doing big jumps and stuff with the lowering link, because that can happen, and it does. So that's kind of annoying, but that's That was my doing. You can get the shocks lowered internally in the forks, but it's more expensive, and so I went the cheaper route. But because of that, you know, I had to drop my fork tube, so I raised them up in here. Now the tricky thing is, they run into my handguards. See that? So I actually need to bring them up a little more because it's lowered about almost 2 inches in the rear. And when my bike's on the ground, it's a little choppered up. So the front end just doesn't feel as planted as it could be. So another Polisport cover here. You can see it's gotten some use. Higher ISO. Yep. Man, I've had an issue with the brake pedal. That's just me because the bike's lower to the ground, so that means this is going to hit more. But I will say these Tusk tips have been the most durable of any tips I've had. I've tried the really fancy, I can't think of the name right now. Tried expensive tips. These Tusk ones are doing pretty good. They're kind of tapered up a bit. But yeah, these have been my favorite tips so far, and they're cheap. I think these Polisport frame protectors and also just like grips for your boots are pretty key. I really like these. One thing that's kind of annoying, this airbox boot, the clip in here broke. So this is kind of free floating, so I have duct tape on there, and the seat kind of holds it on a bit, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So this one's in good. It's just like little snap things. Snaps in. Yeah, that one broke. Yeah, the Carb. The Kind Carb. I got the JD Jet kit. It's kind of expensive for what it is, but if you follow it, I don't know, it's probably worth it because the bike runs great. Haven't had any issues with it. And as you can see, I got the Pro Circuit Shorty pipe on the back, and I love it. There's no smudge coming out. Bike's running real good. No smudge. I like this Shorty because, as you can see, it's tucked. It's kind of tucked under the rear fender, so something less, you know, to hit, and it's lighter than the big FMF stock pipe that came on, so that was nice. I will say this kickstand, it's not the best. I already had one like get bent, and then this area seems kind of prone to bending. This bolt comes loose a lot, even despite Loctite, but whatever. These pedals that the Race Edition comes with are great. I've had no issues with these pedals. I have tubeless front and rear. So the red, that's your tubeless setup, which then you pump to 100, 110 psi, and it fills the bladder up, which pushes out and pushes your tire to the rim, and that's your just main air chamber for your tire. And I'm running like 7 psi in the front, and in the rear I usually run, if I have a new tire, this Trackmaster is pretty fairly new, I'll run like 8 psi or 7, and as the tire wears down I put a little more psi. Maybe I'll go up to like 12. It's getting really worn down, just for some peace of mind. But I tell you, this Trackmaster, Kenna Trackmaster, has been my favorite tire. It's nothing fancy, kind of cheap. Cost me like 54 bucks, I think, on Rocky Mountain, and I can get over 50 hours on it, I think. But again, I run my tires to like dead, but I'm still getting up stuff that people on good tires can't get up. So I think it's more the rider than the tire, but definitely having a good tire helps. But these tires, I've been a fan. The gas tank's great. I mean, some people might complain it's small, but for me, it works good. I want to say I can get it probably, I don't know, it's hard to say, 60 to 80 miles. I guess that's a big discrepancy in range right there on the gas tank, but it depends how you're riding. One little secret I did is I moved my beta bars forward a bit. I think these beta bars are actually pretty decent. Had some pro tapers on there, but the betas are good bars, and I like to have them pitched forward a bit. Helps get the weight more forward and just feels better for standing up. So, hand guards, Cycra Handguards, and just with the regular Cycra mounts. So the mounts can always be tricky. Like this one, as you can see, let's see here. It's a pretty tight fit right here. So I can't really, because of these mounts, I can't really go down with my clutch lever if I needed to, because then this would run into the guards, but it's at a good area now. So it's tight, but it works. If I was going to do it again, I'd probably get the Fly Racing handguards. They have a little more mount options. I like these Acerbis. Acerbis, actually, I think the correct way is Acerbis. Fork protectors. I had some old ones. So usually they come in this length right here. And I had some old ones, so I cut them and put them up top so the whole fork tooth's protected, and I have it even coming down pretty low right here. Some stupid graphics on the front. This clip broke, so I just have it a zip tie. So zip tie works. I got updated a radiator cap to here to a 2.0. I will say these betas, it's true, they do not overheat that easy. I'm talking, I live in the high desert here, and I'm in 100-degree weather days, and maybe twice I could hear the radiator boiling, but I mean, you let it cool off for a little bit, then it stops. But I'm telling you, it is impressive. But the stock radiator cap's good. Maybe upgrade if you wanted to, but do not get the Tusk cap with the digital gauge. That cap is faulty. I've had bad luck with it. Maybe you have good luck, but I don't think it's even worth trying to get like a good radiator cap like this, or just use a stock one. One other issue I had was the little seal in here like wore out. There's a seal in there, and then it bumps would just leak gas everywhere, so I got a new little cap, and that was kind of expensive just for this plastic cap. So maybe that was my bad tightening too much, I don't know, but that little gasket in there broke. Everyone knows the push button's real nice. One-handed, see if I can get one-handed. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, the bike's pretty easy to work on, I will say. I've done a top end on it, and that wasn't bad at all. You know, there's plenty of videos online. One little secret is, let's see here. So back in here, look, you can see a little cactus from last ride. Those O-rings, where the pipe mounts into the motor, you'll get smudge back in here. Ooh, dang it! I got the cactus in my hand. Oh, that's impressive. I didn't even hardly touch it, and it was in there pretty good. Well, anyways, those rings, you'll get smudge all in there eventually. Just spray, and you have to just change those rings out. And I put like I don't think you can really see. Let's see here. See that red stuff by the spring? Well, that's like high temp silicone. So I put high temp silicone on my O-rings and stick it in there. I think it helps a little bit, but I've heard mixed things. So having some of these replacement pipe O-rings I think is crucial, because sometimes you have to replace them like every 10 hours or so. Just depends. But this beta pipe's been amazing. I mean, it has been through war. And look, I even had my welder guy in town weld because I cracked the hell of it right there. But this thing is like weathered. Yeah, I mean, look at this weathered pipe. That's right. I actually ride my bikes, not just keep them in the garage. Yeah, that mount's all bent a bit. That happens. This AXP skid plate, I haven't had the best experience. As you can see, it's broke off right here, and it's broken off the other side too. But the pipe is kind of like a skid plate protector too for the frame, so I'm not too worried. Here's another Acerbis frame guard. So yeah, pretty. Getting the spark plugs right there. You can take the spark plug out without taking off the tank. You just gotta be a little fidgety. So my friend John Jelkin makes these little beta 3D printed caps so you don't get water down in your like steering lock. So yeah, overall I'm very pleased with this bike. Yeah, for me as a smaller rider, I really like it. Oh yeah, I also got these Emperor Racing Radiator Guards. Mixed opinions on these. I think they're decent. It's got like a side mount plate here and a front plate. This one you can see is intact. You can see I have a bent radiator through it. So yeah, it's pushed in. Now that could have happened to, now this could happen to anyone's radiator, but I did hit something and the guards did bend in. Then I had to pound out the side plate to make it straight again because I was bent in. So they're all right. I think, no, they're expensive. So I had a overheating issue back in the day, but it all came down to that tusk cap. I had a bad faulty cap that wouldn't seal it well, and so everything else just went to crap. But during that I tried a bunch of options and I replaced all the radiator hoses with this brand. And then there was like around there, back there was this thing called like a thermostat regulator thing. I took that out, but it's hard to say if the updated hoses made a difference, because once I got a new cap everything was fine, but they're kind of expensive for what they are, these hoses, but they're going strong, and it makes the bike look a little cleaner. So this is where you would adjust your power valve. If you want to change the springs, you undo these two bolts and you pull this off. I have the green spring in here, and this is almost flush, and that's been my magic. I find with the green spring I'm just a little less wild and more controlled on the loose stuff, so I go green spring.